तस्माद् अज्ञान संभूतम हृतस्थम ज्ञान सिनात्मनः छिन्वेनम संशयम योगम आतिष्ठुत्तिष्ठ भारतः. Hello friends, this is the 42nd shlok of the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and today we will understand this shlok in detail. So let's first go over its meaning. So the shlok says, Tasmad Ajnana Sambhutam, which means, therefore, whatever ignorance has accumulated, Hritastham Jnana Sinatmanah, which means, by the sword of knowledge situated in your heart, Chinvenam Sanshayam Yogam, which means, cut this doubt, yoga atishtha uttishta bharata, situated in rise, O Bharat. So in this shlok, Shri Krishna is sort of arousing Arjun, and he's telling him that therefore whatever ignorance has accumulated inside you, with the sword of knowledge which is present in your heart, just cut all of it and cut all that doubt and situate yourselves in yoga, rise and fight this war. So this is the last shlok of this chapter, and Shri Krishna basically is concluding this chapter by asking Arjun to rise up and fight this war and basically destroy all the doubt that is present inside him. And the doubt that is present inside Arjun, of course, is associated with fighting this war or not. And clearly Shri Krishna is telling him that you should fight this war. Now that is how he has concluded this chapter, but we have to keep in mind that the way in which it has been presented over here, that Shri Krishna is asking Arjun to fight this war, that whole idea is taken very lightly with most of the people, and that happens because people do not really understand the significance of the doubt that Arjun actually is facing. We already understand that Arjun is the hero of Mahabharata and Duryodhan is the villain of Mahabharata, and people have a lot of reverence for Shri Krishna because he is the avatar of Vishnu. So because we take all these things for granted, therefore we take all these messages very lightly, and we do not really understand the entire deep significance of what Shri Krishna actually is asking Arjun to perform over here. So I think we should take some examples to get that idea of what kind of thing that Shri Krishna is asking Arjun to do, because we take all of those things lightly. So let's just replace all these things and put them in the current context. Let's assume that you are the son of a businessman. Your father is the CEO of a business which was founded by your grandfather, and your entire family is actually engaged in this business, and your father is the one who is leading it. Now you are the eldest son of your father, and you are helping your father in terms of running this business. Now suddenly what happens is that your cousins, they also come and they start helping with this business also, and you are the eldest among all your cousins also, but slowly one of your cousin, he starts to lay claim on the position of the CEO, while there is a rule in the family that the eldest son of the CEO actually is the one who succeeds as the CEO. But this cousin of yours, he still starts to make claim because at one point of time his father actually was the CEO, but then he basically removed himself from their post because of some kind of a intrigue or some sort of a wrong behavior, you can say, because of which he got chastised by some person. And so you look at it from that point of view and see, I mean, how will you feel? I mean, you are the eldest son of the current CEO, and this cousin of yours, whose father actually was once a CEO, but he actually gave up on that position and basically went into forest and now he's making claim to this position. How would you feel? I mean, that's exactly how Duryodhan is feeling. So there is definitely a very valid case for Duryodhan to feel like that, and it's not as simple as, just saying that Duryodhan is making a very irrelevant claim over here. Now, if you were to look at it from Arjun's point of view, you can again see this situation. You can see that, you are the younger son of this person who is making claim to this position of the CEO, and you see that everybody in your family actually is on the side of the son of your uncle, and you see that the everybody is on his side because his father is the one who is the CEO, and he is the eldest son of the current CEO. And now you are seeing the situation has gone so bad that you have to go to war for this, and you love all your loved ones, and all of those who are part of your family are on the side of the cousin of yours. Now in that situation, a friend of yours tells you that, go ahead and fight with all your loved ones. How would you feel? I mean, that's exactly how Arjun is feeling. So you can clearly see that Arjun is in a very big dilemma. I mean, he loves his relatives, and his relatives are on the side of the current king, and he has to fight this war. So it's not that easy actually to really fight this war, and Arjun is really facing the confusion, which is a very valid confusion. The situation of Duryodhan is also quite valid, and the situation of Yudhishthir can seem to be irresponsible. So a lot of deep understanding actually is needed. If a normal person were to give you instructions like how Sri Krishna is giving, many of the people will back off. The only reason why it seems so obvious is because people already have reverence for Sri Krishna, and so people don't really realize how deep the idea over here is when Sri Krishna is telling Arjun to go ahead and fight. So I hope that you are generating the understanding for the situation in which Arjun is, and you are developing the understanding of the significance of what messages Sri Krishna actually is telling to Arjun. So I hope that those deeper ideas are coming to you, and they will still continue to come in the next chapters. So this chapter over here is now closing. Fourth chapter is completed. I hope that I have explained the ideas of the fourth chapter well to you. With that, I will close this video. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.